feed myself here. My rent expired. I needed to rebound back.
I starve. I walk out from all the way from Agege to Ikeja. Guys are outside there. There is nothing to do.
So many challenges came.
At the base of it, it's just the fact that we are not producing enough job opportunities as we have people that can fill up those roles.
Youthhood is the most sensitive and defining moment of a person's life.
Unemployment simply means two things. We either have the largest workforce in the world or the largest criminal force in the world.
Due to gaps in unemployment data, the severity of youth unemployment remains poorly understood.
Unemployment in Nigeria, I think it's a generational issue. It's been with us for the longest.
Findings from our recent research, How Young People Survive Without Jobs, actually shows that about 38% of young people have been unemployed for at least 5 years. And about 60% of unemployed people in the Northeast have been without work for at least 3 years. Unemployment has devastating impact on young people's psyche, even their quality of life. Being in longer durations of unemployment could cause wider skills gaps. It's difficult to focus your energies or creative energies into productive enterprise. They are trapped at survival levels, struggling every single day to feed and just to breathe, being unable to explore their potential to the point where they can harness their creativity and further channel their innovation.
While young people remain the face of disturbing socio-economic realities, there is rarely any serious investigative effort to understand how they cope with being unemployed.
I sell dog for a living and I do so many jobs outside there to keep myself busy. Over 6 years now, when I left university, I don't have any job to do, so I got to look for one or two things to do.
Actually, because I do design, I've never actually really had to struggle for a job. But coming out of school, I had side gigs and everything, but coming out of school, it's been hard to get a steady source of income here. Most times, I apply to firms that are not in Nigeria, first off, and then they do this whole discrimination thing where they don't employ people that are from Nigeria because of trust and the Yahoo thing. And especially when it's design and it's tech related, it's hard to get people that trust you. If they don't see your portfolio, if they don't know you, then it's hard to get a job, even on merit. So yeah, that's what makes it hard.
When it's time for, should I say, you want to do IT or whatever, they select by tribe. They select by this, they select by that. It's not meant to be so. Allow people to be able to know what they can do. Because a lot of people, they gain confidence when they are able to work. Even if you don't give them a job of eternity, 3 years, 5 years, it will boost their morale to be able to move higher. But there's no opportunity whatsoever.
Over 60% of unemployed youth in the Northeast have been without work for at least 3 years.
The northern issue is a bit perhaps different from what you'd find in the rest of the country, because you look at what is happening with young males in the north and what is happening with young females, and how are we able to bridge sort of the gaps in terms of their access to education, in terms of even the views of how they can come out and contribute their own to the development of the country. And if you don't have an enabling environment, it's very, very difficult to have that happen, no matter where you are in the world.
Unemployed youths in the Northeast region are the least likely to receive support from family and friends, 5%, and hustle, 7%, compared to other regions of the country.
Even though this is a country where we have universal basic education, and states are expected to ensure that every single child has that education up to a certain level, but we don't have that today. Why? I believe it is because the leaders that be in the northern states are afraid to challenge the status quo, the traditions, the interpretation of religion that makes it okay to have some kids that are kids all over the place and are out of school. So those sort of attitudes are the things that we need to change. If you find that there are more children per woman in the north than you'd find in the south.
Sometimes when you go to FWIS, they will ask you what type of phone are you using? Are you on social media? How many social media handles do you have? They even said the phone that I was using was a cheaper one. I need to get a bigger phone before I can be employed. And some want to take advantage of you to say before giving you a job, you have to scratch their back like nothing goes for nothing.
I get challenged because I don't know nobody. If I get my credential to place that I want to get the job, I don't know nobody. Nobody can sit and listen me and check my credentials to give me the work.
The big challenge that we are facing now is like dollar rising. You know, as the dollar rising, we can't export pump from Dubai and other things, so we used to buy uses.
All people need to have is an enabling environment. Today, our best and brightest are leaving the country, and those that haven't left are waiting for the opportunity to leave. This does not augur well for our economy. I mean, it's kind of pretty clear. It's not simple, but it's clear the sort of things that we need to do. But do we have the will to do it? That is the thing. Do we have the right leaders in place who are driven not so much by self-interest, but by a desire to serve? And if they are, what are they doing to ensure that we put all these things in place to ensure that we are able to tap, which I still believe is a demographic dividend, to ensure that this does not turn into a demographic disaster.
We currently now have oversupply of able hands, and the demand for those hands, we don't have as much. Now, that does not mean that there is no gap, which is quite interesting. So when we talk about unemployment in Nigeria, the first thing that comes to our mind is white collar space. How many of our youths work in the office, or how many of our youths work out of a company or a registered company? And because of that, we've taken away the impact and the effect of the informal sector. So you see someone actually playing in the informal sector, quite successful in the informal sector, but we still consider them to be unemployed. So it's a function of the reality of unemployment in Nigeria, coupled with deprioritized attention on where the demand and supply is. And that's why we found ourselves where we are, in Nigeria.
There is this saying by a comedian that the average Nigeria is a manager. And to that fact, to every situation we find ourselves, we tend to suit in. So with whatsoever that is happening, it is not just one person, it is everybody. So you strive very hard to keep living rather than going backward.
I am a Christian, so I just hope in God that one day it shall be better.
My business, of course, keep me going. Yeah, the business is doing well because I hop around.
While the challenges of unemployment persist, Nigerian youths demonstrate remarkable resilience and determination to survive and thrive through hustling, stipends from parents, informal sector engagement, betting, government support, support from religious institutions, and many more to continue to navigate the path towards a brighter future.
A majority of unemployed youth in Nigeria majorly survive through a combination of survival strategies, from hustle to stipends from family and friends to borrowing and betting. It's a bucket of strategies. However, hustling stood out as the major means of survival that young unemployed people explore. And they are also largely dependent on family, friends, and even strangers to survive.
My mother used to motivate me all the time. She used to wake up me in the night to pray and all that things, fasting every day so for my success, understand? Big shout out to my mother.
Let me say it was my mom that kept me motivated. Yeah, because she has been my support system. She told me not to give up, that everything is going to work out, that she just keep on believing in God. And she was the one that even helped me with the capital that I add up to my own savings to start up the business.
Women are less likely to hustle and more likely to depend on family and friends. That's at 33% compared to their male counterparts at 66%. While this might be seen as women having more support system during the unemployment period, it could also reflect a level of vulnerability that women have or could have if they do not have this support from their families and their friends and from their well-wishers. But we are also seeing that women are more likely to ascribe some of their small businesses as jobs compared to men who would ascribe them as hustle.
I think that collective leadership is the key, and that is because it cannot be done completely by one person or one organization. It requires the collaboration of all state actors who understand the nitty-gritty and the consequences in the future of what unemployment presents. And this can be done through various interventions. One of those interventions is what Jobberman Nigeria is doing in partnership with the Mastercard Foundation in providing soft skills to young people across Nigeria within the age of 18 and 35, as well as other support services like CV writing, and just ensuring that they have all they need to put the right foot in the door. There is so much that can be done. A lot of initiatives, which includes providing soft loan for young people to start up businesses of their own, as well as mentorship program to encourage young people to take in innovative ideas, to scale it to a point where that, they can begin to generate some income for themselves.
Social safety nets have substantially impacted the global fight against poverty and socio-economic vulnerabilities. However, less than 1% of unemployed youth receive support from the government and religious institutions.
Our employability project was set up in 2018, and we understand the essence and the importance vocational skills plays in tackling unemployment. So we launched our employability project, and the essence of the project is to train youths across several sectors with vocational skills. And over the years, we've been able to train over 16,000 youths. We just don't train them. We ensure that they also get a paid placement. And there's a mentoring program involved in this training, and also soft skills training. When we look at countries that they've had single-digit unemployment rates, such as Germany, Austria, Switzerland, one of the things they've done was to infuse vocational skills in their academics. So that's why we introduced the Vocational Employability Project to train our youths across various skills. You don't have to have a blue-collar job to earn a living in Nigeria. You could also be a plumber, you could be a makeup artist and yet be successful.
There's no one-size-fits-all solution, but I believe that if we start to put some of these things over a period of time, we'll start to see positive impact. And one of them is deliberately driving dignity of labor. We need to do that in Nigeria. We need to ascribe real monetary values to real services. So it's important that guardians and parents actually deliberately look at demand and supply also within the economy. And then on top of that, as a society, we also need to demystify this idea of the priority placed on white-collar jobs as being the yardstick for employment. Shine more light on our technical colleges. Probably also put more priority on diplomas. And when they come out of school, they should never or should not be treated as second-class people, right? Because they are at the heart of professional services, right? And they should be well compensated for that. So I think that, the private, the public, and the development partners should work together to really, really fish out periodically, where do we have demand? Where should we push supply? And that should dictate or impact, opportunities even into schools.
It is beyond evident that the informal sector holds the potential to solve the unemployment crisis in the country. However, its current structures and processes across various industries keep a majority of its players wrapped in survival levels. There is an opportunity to optimize the informal sector, to shift the unemployment narrative in the country.